It's that time of the year again. Oh, you know what I'm talking about. You got drunk at a Christmas party, told your mother-in-law you don't like the decoration she spent the last 3 days putting up, pissed under the Christmas tree, and now everyone hates you. Sounds familiar? Well, I have some good news and some bad news. Actually, I mostly have bad news. Let me preface this by saying it partially might not be completely your fault, but it's 100% your responsibility, so don't use it as an excuse and take responsibility for your actions. If you get drunk enough to feel ashamed or make other people angry, you might want to consider talking to a professional to either help you stop drinking or work on controlled drinking. So, has it ever happened to you, or someone you know, that you've decided not to drink that night, but then you thought, just one drink will not hurt? And then suddenly it's 6 hours later, you're chugging your 10th beer while dancing on the bar, you've told everyone what you think about them, and you know for sure that you will not be able to get up for work tomorrow. But how is it possible? You were only going to have one drink. Well, you're not the only one to go through this. In fact, it is so common that many people would rather have no drinks at all than to have just one. But why? Why is it so hard to control your drinking? And why some people can do that and others can't? Well, if you've seen any of my videos, you probably expect the answer to be complex. And it is. There are societal and biological factors in play, and they both might nudge you in some ways to drink more than you'd like. Binge drinking is a pattern of alcohol intake as a consumption of 4 to 5 standard drinks per drinking session for men and women respectively over the course of 2 hours, leading to a significant blood alcohol level of 0.8 grams per liter. Just as a reminder, one drink is 14 grams of pure ethanol, which can be found in 12 ounces of beer, 5 ounces of wine, or 1.5 ounces of distilled spirit. Binge drinking has many negative effects on your brain, but those will not be covered in this video. In this video, I want to explore why it is so easy to lose control over your alcohol intake. It all starts with your first drink. No, not like that. Not the first drink of the night. Think farther away about the first drink you've ever had in your life. The younger you were, the higher the probability that you will have problems controlling the number of drinks you have on one occasion as an adult. The brain in adolescence is still developing, and the ability to make great decisions can be compromised. This pattern is often established in younger people because of experimenting, lack of experience, lack of understanding of the risks, and peer pressure. Do you know how many people aged 18 to 25 responded to Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration survey in 2021 that they binge drank in the previous 30 days? 31.4%. In 2013, 40% of adolescents and young adults in Western countries reported at least one binge drinking episode per month. That's a lot. Many of these young people do not grow out of their drinking habits, but their drinking habits grow on them. And not everyone actually wants to drink that much. According to the National Drug Strategy Household Survey done in 2013 in Australia, 49% of drinkers reported taking action to reduce alcohol intake, either by drinking less in one occasion or reducing the number of drinking occasions. Drinking is a part of many social events, so it's no surprise that you might feel pressured to drink even if you didn't originally plan to. After all, humans are pretty social by nature and don't like to feel left out. A drink can help you release a little bit of social anxiety, give you something to hold onto so you know what to do with your hands, and sometimes helps you have more fun due to the release of your favorite neurotransmitters. From a young age, people are primed to connect alcohol with positive events and celebrations. In many places, not drinking is viewed as strange and prompts unwelcome questions such as, "Are you pregnant? Are you sick?" or pressure you to accept just one drink, causing awkwardness and embarrassment. Of course, you shouldn't feel obliged to mask your non-alcoholic drink as alcoholic or make a false excuse such as being on antibiotics or driving later. But people do. With this kind of pressure, it's no wonder that many cave in and agree to have just one drink. If you don't, you risk being labeled as boring. But what's the other person's problem? Why don't they let you drink soda and call it a day? It's quite possible that they were also pushed into drinking many times before and view this behavior as playful and normal. They might want you to have fun and worry that you will not have fun on water. People also don't feel as comfortable drinking around someone who's sober and do not want to be judged. If you drink with them, it helps them make their consumption acceptable and normal. So you've accepted the drink. The problem is, it's not just one drink, is it? But why? One of the reasons might be a setting. Listening to party music was linked to increased likelihood of making risky decisions, including drinking. Or an open bar is available. Some people consume more drinks just because they can. After all, it's an open bar and you're not paying, so you gotta take advantage. And then there are the biological reasons. There's a couple of aberrations in brain structure in people who are more susceptible to binge drinking, such as reduced cortical thickness, decreased surface area, decreased gray matter densities in the frontal regions. Areas that can significantly affect binge drinking are the prefrontal cortex, amygdala, and striatum. There are genetic predispositions that make you more susceptible to overdrinking, and there are dozens of genes that interact with each other to make you who you are. So we cannot pinpoint one gene that is responsible. Plus, there are other factors. Alcohol affects your brain. It gives you a surge of good chemicals. Alcohol is a drug, so of course there is going to be chemicals involved. Let me introduce you to the usual suspects. You drink, and suddenly your brain blesses you with some Gamma-Aminobutyric acid. GABA is a calming neurotransmitter, so your anxiety levels go down and a little bit of stress releases. But too much GABA can switch off important things in your brain, such as your judgment and eventually your consciousness. Oops, there goes your coordination. When you drink a little bit more, alcohol blocks your glutamate receptors. And you may remember from my first video that glutamate plays an important role in keeping you awake. This lovely effect will mess up your memory and make you repeat your funny jokes over and over again until everyone finds someone else to talk to. If you overload the glutamate system, you will eventually black out. And what is the triquetra of drug use? Do I hear dopamine, serotonin, endorphins? Come right in. Serotonin makes you more empathetic. It helps you see other people in better light, and yes, this includes why you might find other people hotter when drunk, and makes you want to share. Yes, it's serotonin that makes you for the beautiful memories of when you tell your boss about the time you pissed your pants in front of the whole class when you were 12. Serotonin will help you see things in a funnier way. Serotonin receptors are found in the brain and in the digestive system, and the overstimulation can make you feel sick. You drink and get the hit of dopamine. You feel better, full of energy, excited even though you were originally pretty grumpy about going to your aunt's wine party. Your pleasure reward center has been hijacked. This extra dopamine can also make you more aggressive, and you might find yourself in a completely irrelevant argument about politics you promised yourself you would not discuss. But the effect doesn't last forever, and sooner or later, you're going to need more alcohol. Alcohol releases endorphins. You are naturally programmed to love endorphins, and they make you feel good. They are incredibly good at taking your pain away. It brings you a different sort of pleasure than dopamine, more relaxed. And this cocktail of neurotransmitters brings you good feelings when you drink and is partially responsible for developing alcohol dependence. Alcohol can soothe a large pool of your needs, from anxiety and self-consciousness to the lack of will to party or fight. Depending on your unique physiology, the strength of the response may vary. Some people can't metabolize alcohol properly and it makes them sick, so the decision not to drink is easy. Others can experience pleasure from drinks, so the motivation to stay away from alcohol is weaker. The parts of your brain which are in control, the adult who helps you have a lifestyle of a decent being, are pretty susceptible to alcohol. Do you want to smoke? Sure, why not? What about another drink? Bring it on. Steal that shopping cart. Say no more. Alcohol affects your frontal cortex, which helps you perform motor tasks, judgment, abstract thinking, creativity, and maintaining social appropriateness. And the prefrontal cortex, which is responsible for regulating emotions, controlling impulses and memory, and thus disrupts your ability to make good decisions, and it can make you more impulsive. When under influence, it's easier to live in the moment and ignore the problems future you will have to deal with. The more you drink, the more the brain center responsible for good decisions gets wasted. And there goes your will not to drink. And if you've been craving a drink all day, just one drink often isn't enough to scratch the craving. One drink also doesn't change your cognition all that much, so you can get the impression that one drink didn't really do anything and be tempted to have another. You start looking for reasons why you should have another drink. What can the negotiations look like? I deserve to enjoy this night. It's just one cocktail. I am on vacation in an exotic destination and will regret not trying this beverage. It's Saturday and I haven't gotten drunk all week. What is the harm from just one more drink? I'm having so much fun. I don't want to stop right now. I will not drink next time instead. Alcohol also changes the way your brain interacts with alcohol long term. This change is slow, but gradually your brain starts to expect and need alcohol. Some of this doesn't go away even after a period of abstinence. When you repeat an action, your brain makes shortcuts of sorts, maps. These help you form habits and make decisions faster by automation. In this case, they are against you. Once you have a drink, there's a chance that the standard program will activate, and it can be just as if you never stopped drinking. And this can happen to you, or it cannot happen to you, and unfortunately you can never know for sure. So, should you try controlled drinking, or are you better off not drinking at all? Well, due to the negative effects of alcohol, you are always better off not drinking at all. But let's say this wasn't that type of question. It was more of a can I handle it kind of question. And honestly, we just cannot tell whether you can learn to control your drinking or not. There are several techniques you can try, but some people never succeed. Others can control their drinking after a period of abstinence and working on their problems. There are some factors which predetermine that drinking just isn't for you. If you have tried several times to stop drinking and failed, you might want to speak to a professional and reconsider abstinence for at least a little while. And there are some special medical conditions which you should not drink on, even though people still drink in spite of having these. Some examples are issues with digestion, mental health issues, high blood pressure, diabetes, stroke, heart problems, cancer, epilepsy, or obesity. You also want to stay away from alcohol when you're trying for a child. And for some, it is next to impossible to control their drinking. Nevertheless, here are some tips. Set a limit in advance and stick to it. It can be helpful to have a friend who does not have this problem and stop drinking when they do. A good friend can also watch out for you, help you with excuses, and keep you accountable. Practice saying no in your mind. Yeah, I know, this sounds like the lame just say no advice, but this one is a little bit deeper. Close your eyes and imagine as vividly as you can the situation in which you are going to be later. Imagine the sounds, the smells, the person who is going to offer you the drink. Prepare some strategies for this scenario that help you say no, so you're not surprised when you are in this scenario and automatically say yes even if you didn't want to. Even better, practice saying no in charades. Even though you might feel silly doing this at home, it makes it easier to refuse later in real life. and have a friend help you if they're willing. This helps build new automated replies to the question, "Do you want a drink?" No! Charades are often used as a training exercise in some of the addiction treatment centers I internshiped in. Consider and write down the reasons you want to stop. You can bring the reasons with you and read them throughout the night in between drinks. Think about the drinks you don't consider worth having or you regret it later. Don't let anyone else fill your glass. Substitute your drink of choice with a non-alcoholic option. And remember, it's always a good time to stop. Going over your limit doesn't mean your effort was worthless and that you can get hammered because you drank 3 beers instead of 2. Even if you went some drinks above your limit, reducing the total number of drinks still counts and helps you prime you for success next time. But the best tip of all, if you can afford it, see a professional. There are many people professionally trained to help you, and a short YouTube video with a couple of tips can never match the quality of the service a professional can give you. Of course, sometimes you can find a professional with whom you just don't match well with, but it's okay to try more people before you find something who suits you. Many people do it, and there's no need to feel bad about it. I hope you have learned something new today, and if you are interested in the topic of addiction treatment and prevention and drug deep dives, consider subscribing to my channel, and if you really loved the video and think it can help someone you know, try sending them a link. Thanks for watching.